Get ready for breaking news. North Carolina lawmakers are gearing up for a massive vote this Wednesday on a $319 million package to fully fund the state's Medicaid program. This crucial vote is set to decide the future of healthcare coverage for millions of North Carolinians, and we have all the details on what's at stake.
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
The debate is heating up as Republican legislative leaders push for new oversight provisions on Medicaid, aiming to potentially kick people off coverage. We dive into the specific proposals from GOP leaders and the intense arguments being made by House Democrats about protecting vital healthcare access. Meanwhile, in tragic local news, police are preparing to file charges against adults who stood by while a fight escalated into a mass shooting at Lanebach Park in Winston-Salem. We examine the details of the incident and the serious charges being considered against those involved. And finally, we honor true sacrifice as we look at the ceremony where a North Carolina National Guardsman received the Purple Heart for wounds sustained in combat. This is a powerful moment recognizing the courage and service of SGT, David Hunt, and we bring you all the latest updates right here. North Carolina lawmakers are set to vote on a $319 million package Wednesday aimed at fully funding the state's Medicaid program, a move designed to prevent the program from running out of money next month. This action is crucial given the lack of a new state budget. The funding is essential to safeguard coverage for the approximately 1 in 4 residents of the state who rely on Medicaid, including disabled individuals, children, and low-income adults. Failure to secure this funding could lead to potential service disruptions, with doctors and hospitals potentially refusing to treat the 3+ million North Carolinians dependent on the program. While Republican legislative leaders have been divided on broader budget negotiations, they have reportedly agreed to pass a separate bill specifically to fund Medicaid. However, Republicans are seeking new oversight provisions attached to the funding package, intended to identify and potentially remove individuals from Medicaid coverage. GOP leaders argue that many people currently receiving benefits should be deemed ineligible, claiming they are slipping through the cracks and inflating taxpayer costs. House Speaker Destin Hall warned that if Medicaid continues its recent growth trajectory, it will consume an increasing share of the state budget, limiting lawmakers' ability to fund other priorities such as employee pay raises. Hall stressed the need to focus on Medicaid, stating, "The debates about all these other issues we're talking about are not going to matter, because Medicaid is going to swamp it all out." House Democrats expressed relief after the vote, acknowledging that saving Medicaid to some extent was a significant achievement. Minority Leader Rep. Robert Reeves criticized some of the Republican proposals, labeling them as politically motivated. Reeves pointed out that instead of increasing staffing for the Department of Justice's Medicaid Fraud Division, the proposed legislation allocates funds to the state auditor's office to hire staff focused on waste within the state health department, suggesting this is politically motivated due to leadership differences between the auditor and the attorney general. Reeves further connected these actions to a broader pattern, asserting that these changes reflect a trend where Republican lawmakers have stripped powers and duties from previous state offices and consolidated authority in positions won by Republicans after losing statewide elections. He concluded that the legislative process appears to prioritize reacting to voter preferences rather than established governance structures. North Carolina lawmakers are set to vote on a House bill aimed at fully funding Medicaid for the remainder of the fiscal year, a measure prompted by ongoing debates concerning rising enrollment and escalating healthcare costs. The proposal, which has secured agreement from both House and Senate Republicans, allocates $319 million to cover Medicaid expenses through June. State health officials assert that this funding level is essential to manage higher-than-anticipated participation rates and increased healthcare expenditures. This agreement follows the announcement of Governor Josh Stein's budget proposal, which also called for comprehensive Medicaid funding. The legislation incorporates several provisions designed to combat alleged waste, fraud, and abuse within the Medicaid program. These measures were a central focus during a recent legislative hearing where Attorney General Jeff Jackson and Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Cody Kinsley faced questioning from lawmakers. The bill includes provisions that would permit an audit of the Medicaid program by State Auditor Dave Bolik and introduce modifications to the Medicaid renewal process. House Democrats have emphasized that fully funding Medicaid remains their paramount healthcare priority, specifically citing the need to safeguard Medicaid expansion efforts. Representative Cynthia Ball, D-Wake, stated, "House Democrats' top priority in the healthcare space is making Medicaid whole, ensuring that it continues to provide the life-saving coverage people rely on, and protecting the years-long effort to expand Medicaid that now covers about 700,000 North Carolinians." The House is scheduled to convene at 1 p.m., with the Senate following at 2 p.m. for the final vote on the legislation. Winston-Salem police are planning to file charges against adults who were present and watching as a fight escalated into a deadly mass shooting at Lanebach Park on Monday. The incident resulted in the deaths of 2 teenagers, Daniel Jimenez Millian, 16, and Arubi Romero Medina, and injuries to 5 others. Police Chief William Penn, Jr., stated that charges will be pursued against those who stood by during the altercation. "We're sending the message that if you stand by and encourage or aid our juveniles in delinquent behavior, we will not tolerate it in our community," Chief Penn said. The report indicates that the violence began as a fight between a group of teenagers at the park, which rapidly turned into a shooting. The victims included Jimenez Millian and Romero Medina, while 5 others sustained injuries. In connection with the incident, Joel Michael Gamble Tolliver, 18, has been charged with felony child abuse. This charge stems from the finding that Gamble Tolliver, who was at the park knowing a fight was likely to occur, was involved in a physical altercation with a juvenile male. Detectives further determined that Gamble Tolliver fired a gun during the event and was among those injured in the shooting. The felony child abuse charge is defined as occurring when a caregiver shows a reckless disregard for human life, resulting in serious bodily injury to a child under 16, due to willful action or gross negligence in care or supervision. Raleigh, NC. A North Carolina National Guard soldier has been honored with the Purple Heart, marking the recognition of wounds sustained in the line of duty. U.S. Army Staff SGT. David Hunt, a historian with the 130th Military History Detachment, received the decoration on March 6, 2026, at the NCNG Joint Force Headquarters in Raleigh. SGT. Hunt was awarded the Purple Heart for injuries sustained during Operation Freedom's Sentinel in 2019 while serving in the Georgia Army National Guard. The Purple Heart holds the distinction of being the oldest military award still presented to American service members wounded or killed in combat. The ceremony served as a significant event for the NCNG, allowing members to learn about the award's history, acknowledge SGT, Hunt's valor, and connect with fellow recipients. U.S. Army Maj. Gen. Todd Hunt, the Adjutant General of North Carolina, presided over the event, emphasizing the medal's significance. Although the Purple Heart is not really a medal you want to receive, it's a medal that tells a story of courage, a story of sacrifice, a story of selfless courage, stated Gen. Hunt. SGT. Hunt's service included participation in a Special Forces operational detachment engaged in a 48-hour partnered operation with Afghan coalition forces to target Islamic State group elements, known as ISIS-K during the operation, SGT. Hunt engaged threats and was injured when an improvised explosive device detonated, causing him to temporarily lose consciousness. Despite the physical and mental impact of the blast, he continued to lead his team for the subsequent 2 days. As a historian, SGT, Hunt drew a powerful parallel between his experience and the historical significance of the Purple Heart. He noted the connection between the award and the establishment of the Badge of Military Merit by General George Washington following the Revolutionary War, reflecting on the shared commitment of service. The Purple Heart remains a profound symbol of sacrifice. SGT. Hunt joins 39 current NCNG service members and employees who have also received the award. It is estimated that over 12,000 Purple Hearts have been awarded to service members wounded or killed in Afghanistan since 2001.